One day I'm gonna be everything I wanna be. I don't let it get the most of me. One day I'm gonna be free. I wanna be everything I'm gonna be. My future right in front of me. One day I'm gonna be free. I wanna be free. So let me be free.
From the depths of darkness, a voice emerges. A host with a fire burning in his soul. With a heart, steel, and a spirit unbroken. He rides on two wheels, ready to claim his throne. Amidst the chaos and the thunderous roar, insane wheels rise as a force to be reckoned with. Fueled by the power that only metal can bestow, he takes his stand, refusing to submit. Insane wheels hear his battle cry. Metal and mayhem will never die. Rituals report and pace his way. More legend in the making, day by day.
So we're all alive, man, and that's a big W to everyone. Much love, honor, respect to everybody. Hopefully everyone's enjoying themselves and having a wonderful morning. I definitely know the hell we are. Great to see everyone. Unfortunately, I woke up quite a bit sick this morning. I kind of, now this is like my third time relapsing into, a head cold, which is not a big deal. I mean, it still sucks. But it sucks because today I'm supposed to go down to the sheriff's department because I have to deal with this whole executive committee. Today is like the day that we all meet up that is candidates for the executive committee. So I'll be showing up there today at 6:30 actually. So it's going to be a good day. All right. So enough about me. We got a Minneapolis shooting latest. This is the way that I have it titled, by the way. Bovino demoted, as well as Trump, Iowa at 4 p.m. Eastern, by the way. So just know that is going to be happening later on today. We're not going to be able to cover it today. Gaza peace plan and more. So obviously I can't put everything into the title, obviously. So I'm going to go ahead and let you guys know what we're looking at. So over in Maine, I think you say it Bangor, Maine. There was a fucking jet crash and 7 unfortunately died from the situation and 1 seriously hurt. Wow, it's kind of an incredible story. And then we got Trump says he had a quote very good call with Minnesota Governor Walz.
Bruh.
That's going to be interesting for damn sure. Also, 21 hours ago, this was breaking. No ruling on ICE surge in Minneapolis. So Washington state officials discuss ICE operations, and so we have that for you guys. We're not going to play the full clips of that and also the White House press briefing because each of those are about 30 minutes, 40 minutes each, and so we don't have the time to be able to crunch all this into a single hour. So we're going to have to part that out a little bit. Then we have anti-ICE protesters target hotel where agents were allegedly staying, which is not typical. It's typical actually. You got a lot of protesters and agitators and people out there that are following around ICE with app trackers and all sorts of stuff. So it's not surprising that they're going to show up where they're at a hotel, for instance. So winter storm death toll rises to 29. So this is being reported from the Associated Press. Very interesting numbers here. And then a huge story that happened this morning. Bovino, I think that's how you say his name, demoted as Border Patrol commander after Minneapolis shootings. Gregory Bovino has been demoted from his role as the Border Patrol commander at large following 2 deadly shootings of American citizens at the hands of federal agents in Minnesota. Fox 2 has confirmed that, by the way. Then we're going to be moving into deadly winter storm shifts to extreme cold in Texas, which I do know to be a fact. Texas, I can't believe that they really are in a really bad ice storm right now. But so is the rest of the country. I mean, a lot of the country's struggling with it as well. But anyways, let's go ahead and do our call to actions, and then we'll get right into the show and say hi to everybody. Make sure you guys do me a favor and hit that like button, double tap the screen if you're on the vertical side. I very much appreciate every single one of your guys' likes, and also hitting that subscribe button because it's free, man. And guess what? We do this Monday through Friday, so I very much appreciate you guys hanging out with us. We follow all the stories that we're reporting on and stuff like that. We try our best to follow every one of them. But let's go ahead and get the money part over. Please consider becoming a member, starting only at $3.99 a month. Making sure we're not breaking the bank out there with anybody, but check it out. This is what allows us to keep these, airwaves on and have these lights on. So I very much appreciate you guys becoming members and then staying members. We got members only on Saturday morning, man. So you guys got to join up. Little side note here, follow my Instagram at BallValveTV, where I post everything behind the scenes of not only my life, but as well as the show, Millennial Food Time, breaking news, the campaign trail. It's a great way to get a hold of me one-on-one, actually. But we have a Discord server for all of you legends as well. Make sure you guys go into the video description down below, and it has the invite link. I have the majority, I would say 95% of the Insane Wheels family in there. We got to get the 5% that are not. And then last but not least, all super chats, super stickers, gifted memberships, and membership signups are, of course, all going to be presented live and shouted out onto the show. But if you guys would like to skip that YouTube 30% brutal cut that they take from your hard-earned cash, well, then we have these platforms that are scrolling around the screen. You guys can donate to those, and, of course, it'll count just like a super chat, and I'll read out loud whatever comes our way, just like a super chat, and I got the email up. So if anything comes through, I'll see it right away. Great to see everyone in the chat, man. Good morning to everybody. We got Sterling Wheel up in the building, as well as Sicko Smoke. Good morning to you, kind sirs. We got Carney, as well as Rabbit of Chaos. And let's see, Stevie. Real quick, I do have to say this. We have Carney's Ride and Motobomb Virginia. Both of them rated us this morning right before the show. So I very much appreciate that as well, by the way.
Oh, my God.
Indeed. Thank you for that. We got Brother Steve Easy in the building, as well as Jimmy Mack and Prez. Good morning, fellas. We got Mountain Woman. Good morning to you. We got Warliner. Great to see you as well. We got Brother TVT in the building as well. We got Joseph up there in Canada. Good morning, Mr. Ball, Lucy, Breakfast Crew, Bob, and can't forget the haters. Stop the cap.
Stop the cap.
That's for damn sure. We got Baked in the building. Shout out to my man. Good morning to you. We got Josh Phillips in the building, as well as Charles Darwin from Down Under, by the way, in Australia. Very much appreciate you guys. Let's see. We got Rock in the building, as well as Mike. Good morning to you guys. I'm scrolling my way down just to make sure that we're trying to keep, trying to say hi to everybody as best as I possibly can. We got, what's up, Crystal? We got the like button. Good morning to you as well. Good morning. We got S&S in the building as well. Thank you so much for hanging out with us. Let's see. We got KP as well. Good morning. And Charles says, I don't see no Lucy. I don't know. Sometimes she likes to be on the couch there when I'm streaming. And then sometimes she likes to hide under the ottoman by the couch. So just depends. Let's see. All right. So let's go ahead and get right into all of this craziness. And Easy Frank, to be honest, I don't know. She may be sleeping. We got Rick in the building. Shout out to you as well.
We are following some breaking news out of Bangor, Maine, where the NTSB has shared this. The NTSB is investigating the January 25th crash of a Bombardier CL-600 airplane in Bangor, Maine. And a little bit more information about this breaking news as you are taking a look at some video of Bangor International Airport. This is where that private jet crashed. This private aircraft was carrying 8
What's up, Alfred Patterson? Great to see you in the chat. Good morning.
When it crashed on takeoff Sunday night at Maine's Bangor International Airport. That is according to the FAA. The Bombardier Challenger 600 crashed at around 7:45 p.m. local time, and there was no immediate word on the conditions of those aboard. The FAA and the NTSB are currently investigating. The crash did happen as New England and most of the country has been dealing with a massive winter storm, although...
Man, so there was 8 people on board, 7 unfortunately dead, and 1 seriously hurt.
Immediately, it was unclear as to whether played a factor. Bangor had undergone steady snowfall Sunday along with other parts of the country. The airport issued a statement that emergency crews were on the scene at the airport, which was closed after it described an incident involving a single aircraft departing the airport. Bangor International Airport offers direct flights to cities like Orlando, Washington, D.C., and Charlotte. So just moments ago, officials did provide a very brief update.
Damn, Steve Easy. We got a light dusting 2 days ago. We had a light dusting, and it as soon as it hit the ground, it basically melted. But yeah, there was one morning we woke up and there was a light dust. It wouldn't even be considered an inch.
And we wanted to play that
maybe a tenth of an inch
for you right now.
Good morning. My name is Jose Baker. I'm the airport director here at Bangor International.
Man, are they recording from a fucking Nokia phone or some bullshit? Like, what the fuck kind of video is this?
Thank you for joining us this morning. We have a few remarks here that are going to be brief, as details are still limited.
What's up,
We're waiting
Good morning.
Additional support from our federal partners regarding this incident.
Welcome to Bangor International Airport. For your safety, please keep your luggage with you at all times and do not accept anything.
You know what's funny is my iPhone, okay, the one that I've got, it's like better than a fucking DSLR like video camera, you know? Just gonna be honest. These new iPhones that are pros or whatever, and you've got the 3 lenses on the back or whatever. I'll tell you one thing, I go out and record shit all the time, and that shit is fucking like 8K. You know, not really, but you know what I mean. It looks way better than this. So, what, an iPhone 10?
From people you don't know. All individuals must maintain control of their personal property.
So I'll share additional details of what we have and we can share at this time. At approximately 7:45 p.m. last night, there was an accident involving a single GA aircraft that was departing from Bangor International Airport. The aircraft was a Bombardier CL-600. Our emergency protocols were immediately activated and first responders were on scene in under a minute. In addition to the Maynard National Guard initial response with their fire and rescue vehicles, the Bangor Fire Department and approximately 10 other municipalities responded to the scene. An emergency operations center was established to oversee response and remains active. The National Transportation Safety Board and the Federal Aviation Administration have been notified and are responding to Bangor International Airport. We expect them to arrive later on today.
Wow, Big Dan, I can only imagine. He's saying snowshoes on the halfway to Barnes to Feed Craters, saying hello and listening in from New York. Wow, man, you're definitely a better man than me. I would be like, fuck, I ain't going outside. But hey, no, you got animals to take care of. I get it. But appreciate you, Big Dan, for stopping by this morning.
The airport remains closed, and additional updates will be provided as soon as they're available, and we can share additional details to the public. We appreciate your understanding and patience regarding the incident and ask that you continue to respect the privacy of those involved in this incident. Once the FAA and the NTSB are on site, we will work together with them to provide additional information as soon as that becomes available. I have a few moments for brief questions, but again, since the situation...
And we'll take a couple of questions. We got the monologue and the facts needed from this story, but we'll just go ahead and listen to a couple of questions. Real quick, a little weather check with you guys. Let me know where, you don't have to tell me exactly where you're from. Don't dox yourself or nothing, but like state and or city and your temperature right now. For me in Coleman, Alabama, it's 27 degrees right now, and the high it says it's going to be 38, and it's going to be a low of 11.
It's still fluid. I might not have a lot of answers for you.
Why can't you just say whether or not there were any fatalities? How's that going to impede any
Flames, good morning.
May or may not be coming?
We're waiting for guidance and support from the federal partners
good morning.
before we can make any additional statements to not interfere with their investigations, as they're the leaders of what the next steps look like.
Was anybody transported to the hospital from the crash scene?
One,
I'm not,
I
ready
think.
to share additional information on that.
Why was the plane allowed to take off in the first place, given the storm?
The airport it remained open. There were planes landing and departing around that time, and we had crews on site responding to the ongoing storm that we had at that time.
Is there a protocol for weather like this? Is there a time when flights are not able to take off?
So we have a crews on site.
So most of you guys, so far from what I can gather, most of you guys are in the cold weather. you know, there's only a couple of people that we know right now down in Florida and shit like that. They're on the beaches at like 78 degrees or what, 75 degrees or whatever.
That respond to weather storms.
And then Australia.
On a regular basis, this is normal for us to deal with weather events. And we had crews on site to address the weather event that we had ongoing.
And they deemed it safe to take off.
The snow removal operations were in progress, and again, there were...
Damn it, Jimmy Mac. So far, you're the coldest one in the chat. We're going to move on, though, by the way, because we got too many stories to get through, and we primarily got the answers, I think, that we're going to get out of that. There's Lucy, by the way. She's over here. She's doing something, if you're paying attention. All right, here we go. We're going to move on into Trump says he had a, quote, very good call with Minnesota Governor Walz. This will be interesting. Let's go ahead and bring this up, and we'll discuss it.
Happening right now inside a Minneapolis court, there is a federal hearing that is taking place on the lawsuit the state of Minnesota and the cities of Minneapolis and St. Paul have filed to pause the federal immigration surge in the state. Tensions continuing to rise, and President Trump taking to social media saying that he was on the phone with Minnesota Governor Walz, saying Governor Tim Walz called me with the request to work together with respect to Minnesota.
Wow, Tim Walz called him.
It was a very good call, and we actually seem to be on a similar wavelength. I told Governor Walz that I would have Tim Homan call him. And
what's up, brother TVT, as well, if I haven't said good morning yet.
What we are looking for are any and all criminals that they have in their possession. The governor very respectfully understood that, and I will be speaking to him in the near future. He was happy that Tom Homan was going to Minnesota, and so am I. We have had such tremendous success in Washington, D.C., Memphis, Tennessee, and New Orleans, Louisiana, and virtually every other place that we have touched, and even in Minnesota. Crime is way down, but both Governor Walz and I want to make it better. So,
shit. Well, that's actually some very interesting context there. We're gonna go ahead and move on, though. Obviously, that was it. Excuse me. I'm a little sick. You're gonna have to excuse me. No ruling on ICE surge in Minneapolis. Let's go ahead and bring this up. We're not gonna play this whole thing here, but we are gonna get kind of like what we just did. Is get the main part, and then we're going to move on.
We do want to go away from Washington. I want to take you now out to Minnesota. We have the Attorney General speaking right now. This comes as the U.S. District Judge, Catherine Menendez, concluded today's hearing without an immediate ruling on whether she will move to curtail the federal immigration enforcement surge in Minnesota. Let's listen in.
Hey, please thank those guys for letting us be in here and not out there. Good grief. You know? So... okay, we're waiting on you, brother.
Yeah, even them, they're like, fuck, we don't like being outside in that shit. Fuck that. I gotta blow my nose.
Hello, everyone. My name is Keith Ellison. I'm the Attorney General for the state of Minnesota. I'm joined by my colleagues, who I'm very proud of today, Lindsay Middlecamp and Brian Carter, who stood up in front of the court today. The case that our state has every right to have our own laws, have our own policies, and that the federal government doesn't have any right to try to flood us, threaten us with retribution, and to coerce the state of Minnesota into complying with Trump policy. At the end of the day, I stand here with Renee Good in my heart and in my mind, and with Alex Preddy in my heart, in my mind, and their families. Together with other people who have suffered racial profiling, unfair detention, together with every business person whose business has been shuttered because of this. On behalf of every...
Okay, so unfortunately, this guy doesn't really understand how federal law works with conjunction with state law. So anything that is allocated, that is not allocated, there is federal law, right? Federal law is allocated. Once whatever is not allocated falls under the states. That's how this works. Every single state in the country agreed to this when they signed on with the United States. And every president has honored ICE since it's been built. I just don't understand why, we have these certain people that go, they legally can't do this. They can't. Yes, they legally can. They absolutely legally can do what they're doing. Yes, they can be in your city.
Student and every parent who can't get
may
their
not
kids
like
to school
it
because they are afraid of the federal government. And
What's
behalf
up?
of our city,
We got Stacks in the building. Good morning.
Who have incurred tremendous increase in costs
Pablo.
responding to this ICE escalation. They tell us, and this is their words, this is the single largest deployment of immigration officers in one place at one time, in a state that is not even in the top of immigration. What justifies this disproportionate flood? Nothing legitimate, but the president has been clear. Retribution, he's been clear.
To answer this rabbit of chaos, unfortunately, it's really hard to track Anson because he's got like 17 different YouTube profile names. And by now, I don't even know what his screen names are.
He's going to, we didn't vote for him, so he was really salty about that. And it's unjustified and illegal, and we are praying for the relief that the state of Minnesota needs from the court. And I want to thank the court for listening so carefully, and I just want to thank all of the lawyers and all the staff who came before us today.
Yes, that is absolutely correct. Baked Base Quick definitely knew exactly what's going on. And do you know why the 14th Amendment, actually I believe the 12th, 13th, and the 14th Amendment were due to specifically with to the regards of slavery. Very interesting.
I'll give my colleagues a chance to make any comment they want, and then we'll answer a few questions, then we got to get back to work.
We got the opportunity today to make our case in court. I think we made a strong one. The federal government has not denied our allegation of pervasive and widespread illegal conduct by these 3,000 federal agents who are masked and heavily armed. And we hope that the court will respond to our request for an immediate injunction.
You know, I just see this as a lot of unfortunate, but it's all just political theater, and it's sad because they're not gonna really get anywhere with this shit. I think they're catering to their people that vote them in. Anyways, we're gonna go into the White House press briefing that happened yesterday. Let's go ahead and bring that up, and we'll discuss it briefly. We're not gonna play the whole thing. We can't. We still have 1, 2, 3, 4 stories after this, so we can't play the whole 31 minutes. But we definitely will get a good chunk.
All right, everyone, let's go out to the White House. So we do have Caroline Levitt just stepping up.
And as much of the country feels the impacts of that winter storm, President Trump continues to monitor the situation closely, and he has remained in constant contact with FEMA and emergency responders. President Trump also quickly approved 12 federal emergency disaster declarations within 24 hours for the states of Arkansas.
It doesn't look like it. There might be one. I think TVT's over there, but I don't see him chatting right now.
Arkansas, Georgia, Indiana, Kentucky, Louisiana, Maryland, Mississippi, North Carolina, South Carolina, Tennessee, Virginia, and West Virginia, enabling these states to access critical federal resources to supplement their response efforts if needed. These declarations will help state-led efforts of turning power back on, clearing roads for emergency services, and keeping communities safe. The White House will continue to correspond directly with governors and local officials in the coming days, especially in those states that were harshly impacted by this storm. I would also like to address the chaotic scenes in Minnesota over the weekend. Nobody in the White House, including President Trump, wants to see people getting hurt or killed in America's streets. This includes Renee Good, Alex Preddy, the brave men and women of federal law enforcement, and the many Americans who have been victimized at the hands of illegal alien criminals. Saturday's shooting remains under active investigation by Homeland Security Investigations and the FBI.
No, it's good looks on you, Steve Easy. I appreciate that.
Customs and Border Protection is also conducting their own internal review. As President Trump said yesterday, the administration is reviewing everything with respect to the shooting, and we will let that investigation play out.
What's up, Carrie? Good morning to you. Great to see you in the chat. Let us know how cold it is currently for you.
But let's be clear about the circumstances which led to that moment on Saturday. This tragedy occurred as a result of a deliberate and hostile resistance by Democrat leaders in Minnesota. For weeks, Governor Walz and the Mayor Jacob Fry and other elected Democrats were spreading lies about federal law enforcement officers who are risking their lives daily to remove the worst criminal illegal aliens from our streets: murderers, rapists, pedophiles, human traffickers, and gang members.
Governor, what's up? We got also Wildcard. Good morning to you. Great to see you. Happy Topless Taco Tuesday to all of you legends.
Walz and Mayor Fry have shamefully blocked local and state police from cooperating with ICE, actively inhibiting efforts to arrest violent criminals. They have also used their platforms to encourage left-wing agitators to stalk, record, confront, and obstruct federal officers who are just trying to lawfully perform their duties, which has created dangerous situations threatening both these officers and the general public and Minnesotans alike. This is precisely what unfolded in Minneapolis on Saturday morning. Obstructing federal law enforcement and inciting violence against officers is wrong and illegal. This used to be a universally accepted position in the United States. Amid the hysteria, we must remember how we got here to this moment today and what this Democrat opposition is about. Former President Joe Biden and the Democrats opened America's borders for 4 years, inviting tens of millions of illegal aliens from all over the world to flood into our country. Among them, violent criminals who terrorized American communities and have inflicted devastating, permanent pain and harm on law-abiding Americans and their families. Yet we never saw outrage from Democrats or their allies in the liberal media over these horrifying crimes against U.S. citizens. The pain of American angel families was ignored and dismissed because it undermined the Democrat narrative. Innocent Americans like Jocelyn Nungray, Laken Riley, and Rachel Morin are just a few of the many victims savagely murdered by illegal alien criminals. Earlier this month, an illegal alien from Mexico with a long criminal history who came into our country under Joe Biden's administration threw a baseball-sized stone at a school.
Oh, yeah, that's unacceptable. We got 167 now. Make sure you guys double tap that screen as well as hit the like button on the horizontal side. I very much appreciate your guys' laborious work. Listen, you guys don't have to like all the craziness that's happening in this country right now, but you guys can hit the like button for me and what we do here. So I very much appreciate that.
Bus carrying children in New Jersey and fractured the skull of an 8-year-old innocent child. President Trump promised accountability to these American families by securing the border, deporting every illegal alien who has committed crimes, especially and most importantly, violent crimes. Nearly 80 million Americans voted for him to deliver on that very promise, and he is. As the duly elected president, the president is fulfilling the will of the people by arresting and removing these threats from our country in cities from Los Angeles to New York and, yes, Minneapolis. Yet Democrat leaders in Minnesota with sanctuary city policies have actively defied federal immigration law and the will of the people. And as a result of that defiance, 2 Minnesotans have now tragically lost their lives on the streets of Tim Walz's state. It is President Trump's hope and wish and demand for the resistance and chaos to end today. That's why President Trump spoke with
That's not going to happen.
Governor Walz directly this morning, and he has outlined a clear and simple path to restoring law and order in Minnesota. Number 1, Governor Walz, Mayor Frey, and all Democrat leaders should turn over all criminal illegal aliens currently incarcerated in their prisons and jails to federal authorities.
Yeah, sicko smoke, I did see that.
Along with any illegal aliens.
By the way, anybody out there doing this shit, don't be grabbing a flashbang when it gets thrown at you. Just look away and run away.
With active warrants or known criminal histories for immediate deportation. Number 2, state and local law enforcement must agree to turn over all illegal aliens who are arrested by local police. And then thirdly, local police must assist federal law enforcement in apprehending and detaining illegal aliens who are wanted for crimes, especially violent crimes. If Governor Walz and Mayor Frey implement these common sense cooperative measures that I will add have already been implemented in nearly every single other state across the country, Customs and Border Patrol will not be needed to.
Damn, Pablo. Dude, that would probably ruin my week. Fuck all that noise. That sounds crazy.
Support ICE on the ground in Minnesota. ICE and local law enforcement can peacefully work together, as they are effectively doing in so many other states and jurisdictions. Additionally, President Trump is calling on the United States Congress to immediately pass legislation ending sanctuary cities once and for all. American cities should be safe sanctuaries for law-abiding citizens only, not for dangerous illegal alien criminals who broke our nation's laws and do not belong here. We hope Governor Walz will do the right thing and continue to work with President Trump to keep the American people safe following their call this morning. Americans overwhelmingly want exactly what President Trump is delivering: strong borders and strict immigration enforcement against the worst illegal aliens, of which there are still hundreds of thousands to deport from the interior of our country. The most peaceful way to carry out this vital public safety mission is for Republicans and Democrats to do it together, and for state and local law enforcement to work together with federal law enforcement. We want to let cops be cops. You wouldn't know this continues to be a very popular policy position from the biased media coverage over the course of the last few days. But polling shows huge support for this exact thing President Trump is calling for. More than 80% of Americans favor deporting illegal aliens convicted of violent crimes. A country unable to deport criminals who enter it illegally is no country at all.
Yeah, baked. Unfortunately, it's not inclusive to them. You know what I mean? because it has nothing to do with them, actually. That's why they're offended.
Borders agenda.
Shit.
Bruh. Kamala Harris, Tim Walz, and the Democrats was already on the ballot on November 5th, 2024.
Good morning.
And it was resoundingly rejected. President Trump will never back down from his promise to deport violent, criminal, illegal aliens and make America safe again, and he welcomes all cooperation in that effort. With that, I will answer your questions. And Jordan Conradson, why don't you kick us off today? Thank you for being here.
Thank you, Caroline. Jordan Conradson, Gateway Fund. I have a few questions. First, with respect to the shooting in Minneapolis, we're seeing massive outrage from mainstream media on the left, but I'm just wondering, where was that outrage when Ashley Babbitt, an Air Force veteran, was
What's up, Tiffany? Good morning.
By Capitol Police Officer Michael Byrd, who she posed no threat to in the U.S. Capitol?
Well, you raise a very important point, which I also believe that I just raised as well in those opening remarks, in that there has no doubt been selective outrage by the liberal biased media. And
Good morning, Sterling. Good morning to you. Great to see you in the chat.
Picking and choosing victims and highlighting their stories. And as I've said, President Trump does not want any Americans to lose their lives in the streets of America and in American communities across the country. He believes what happened on Saturday is a tragedy, but every life is equal to President Trump, and that's why the lives of Laken Riley and Jocelyn Ungray continue to matter to him and be an utmost priority to him to this very day. And it's unfortunate that we did not see the same type of sensationalist media coverage over the tragic deaths of those innocent American women and girls across the country as we are in the wake of this tragedy.
I absolutely agree, Steve. What I hate watching about my quote-unquote party is they shift their opinions on things when it fits their narrative. I think that's not just unique to Republicans, though. I think that is across the board a thing that does happen. Now, you do have people such as myself that will stick by my worldview, not the party's, right, or what is popular at that moment. And I think that's why people watch this very show, for instance, right? So, but yeah, I agree with that.
Sure, go ahead.
I want to get your response to this. The Arizona Attorney General, just days before this shooting in Minneapolis, she seemingly encouraged rioters to go out, shoot, and kill ICE agents. And I'll quote her here. She said, "If you reasonably believe your life's in danger and you're in the house or in your car or on your property, you can defend yourself with lethal force." And she said that you can't tell if ICE agents are law enforcement or imposters, and it becomes an issue of whether you reasonably believe they're law enforcement. Do you have a response to that, and does the White House believe that she should be held accountable for?
Well, such dangerous rhetoric, as I pointed out, is exactly what has brought us to this position today, where you have elected Democrat officials across the country who are encouraging left-wing agitators and crazy people to go out and unlawfully obstruct lawful immigration enforcement. Again, these brave men and women of ICE and Border Patrol and the federal enforcement are just trying to do their jobs to enforce our nation's immigration laws and to go after the worst of the worst in this country. I would encourage everyone in this room, and I would encourage the Arizona Attorney General to look at the video of an ICE agent in Minneapolis. He was approached by left-wing agitators who were honking their horns and were screaming slurs at him, and he rolled down his window and he said, "What are you doing? I am out here trying to catch a child predator, somebody who has convicted crimes against an innocent child, and you are trying to obstruct me from doing my job." This rhetoric against ICE, comparing them to Nazi Gestapo, Donald Trump's police force, is despicable, it is shameful, and it is precisely what has led to the escalation of tensions in Minneapolis and in other places across the country. Gabe, go ahead.
For justifying violence.
I would refer you to the Department of Justice on that.
Thank you, Caroline. Regarding Minnesota, on Saturday, the Department of Homeland Security posted that Preddy looks like he wanted to do maximum damage and massacre law enforcement. Stephen Miller on Saturday posted that, or called Preddy a would-be assassin. Why did administration officials jump to conclusions before an investigation had even been conducted?
Well, look, this has obviously been a very fluid and fast-moving situation throughout the weekend. As for President Trump, whom I speak for, he has said that he wants to let the investigation continue and let the facts lead in this case.
With regards to the deployment of Tom Homan to Minneapolis, should the deployment of Mr. Homan to Minneapolis be seen as a sign that the president is dissatisfied with how the officials on the ground had handled the incident?
No, Mr. Homan is doing an exceptional job, and he has been working with Secretary Noem and President Trump over the course of the last year. Secretary Noem still has the utmost confidence and trust of the President of the United States, and she's continuing to oversee the entire Department of Homeland Security and all of the immigration enforcement that's taking place across the whole entire country. Of course, Secretary Noem is also in charge of FEMA, and we are in the wake of a brutal winter storm where hundreds of thousands of Americans have been impacted by that. So Borders Homan is in a unique position to drop everything and go to Minnesota to continue having these productive conversations with state and local officials, and I know that he's catching a plane in just a few hours to do just that at the request of the president. Jennifer.
On Saturday's shooting, has the president been briefed, and have you been briefed on specific details of the shooting? How many shots were fired? How many guns discharged? And I mean, did the protesters' gun go off, or only the officers' guns? Do you have any of those details?
Again, the investigation is continuing, Jennifer, and we will let the facts lead, and we will let the facts play out. In this investigation, I do know that HSI and FBI are conducting interviews with those that were involved and the agents who were involved in this unfortunate tragedy on Saturday.
Are you keeping the president up to date on all those details?
The president is obviously very much on the ball with respect to this investigation. I think he's made that quite clear with the various statements that you've seen him put out, and also the 4 points that the president has outlined as well to Governor Walz, and to encourage him to cooperate with ICE and with the administration. Mary.
Thanks, Caroline. To follow on Gabe's question, Secretary Noem said Alex Preddy committed an act of domestic terrorism. Stephen Miller labeled Preddy a domestic terrorist. Does the president agree with them?
Look, as I've said, I have not heard the president characterize Mr. Preddy in that way. However, I have heard the president say he wants to let the facts in the investigation lead itself.
Was he alarmed to hear his top officials referring to him in that way, rushing to that judgment?
Danny, go ahead.
Thanks, Caroline. On Stephen Miller's comments, will Stephen Miller be apologising to the family of Alex Preddy for calling him?
Real quick, we got extra surprise in the building. Shout out to my man. Good morning to you. Great to see you in the chat, by the way. Happy Topless Taco Tuesday, even though it's way too cold for us to be topless.
Quotes an assassin who tried to murder federal agents, despite the fact that, as you say, this is still under investigation.
Look, again, this incident remains under investigation, and nobody here at the White House, including the President of the United States, wants to see Americans hurt or killed and losing their lives in American streets. And we mourn for the parents. As a mother myself, of course, I cannot imagine the loss of life, especially losing one's child. And that same empathy from the President goes for the parents of angel families, and parents of victims of illegal alien crime across our country as well, and that's exactly why the president continues to be wholeheartedly committed to deporting the worst of the worst criminals from our country. Why don't we go to the back? Kelly.
Does the president believe that the killing, though, was a mistake? Has he expressed that at all?
Again, the president has said, we have to review it, and this investigation needs to continue, and he's letting the facts of the investigation lead itself.
Okay, I think that's enough of us with the White House press briefing. Let's go and move on. We still have lots of stories to get through. So we're going to move on here. Let me go ahead and bring this over here. Okay, anti-ICE protesters target hotel where agents were allegedly staying. Now, this is not uncommon. This is something that has been happening. We have applications out there nowadays that you can get to track ICE agents, and also these big like Telegram groups or whatever they use in particular. It could be any of those fucking things. But nonetheless, they have like a group that they text you, which I've actually seen. I've actually seen those pictures, screenshots of those pictures. Like, hey, we've got 8 ICE agents here, and 1 is staying on the 2nd level. 3 are staying on the 1st level. I mean, it's real. I mean, this kind of shit is being tracked. So I'm not surprised by it. Real quick, we got to get the money part over. We haven't done it yet.
All right, just get the money part done.
Give me money. Money me. Money now. Me a money needing a lot now.
True, but we also got to embrace our fuck ups.
Don't beat yourself up over past mistakes. You are going to fuck up again in the future, quite possibly in a most spectacular fashion. Why worry about yesterday's fuck ups when you have tomorrow's fuck ups to look forward to? You are a fuck up, and fucking up is part of your growth process. Embrace the process.
Yes, embrace the process.
Oh my God!
All right, we're going to move on.
And welcome back, everyone. Here to Live Now from Fox. I'm your host, Mike Bates. Always great to be with you as we continue to roll on this afternoon. We want to get the latest updates coming from Minneapolis, given the...
What's up, Brother Slim? My man, give us a temp check. Let us know how cold it is up there where you live.
Weekend that was another hard one for so many in Minneapolis. And with the latest updates coming, that President Trump also speaking on the phone this morning to Governor Tim Walz. We got the latest updates right now on the ground from Fox News' Garrett Tenney joining us here with a full breakdown. Garrett.
Yeah, Mike, big developments with that conversation between President Donald Trump and Minnesota Governor Tim Walz on the escalating tensions here in Minneapolis. Here's how the two men described that call. President Trump said it was a very good call, and we actually seem to be on a similar wavelength. The office of Tim Walz released a statement calling it a productive call and said he made the case that we need impartial investigations of the Minneapolis shootings involving federal agents.
Yes, it is Signal. That's right. I just couldn't remember the name of the fucking app. I even have Signal, and I couldn't remember it.
And that we need to reduce the number of federal agents in Minnesota, which, according to Walz's office, the president agreed to look into. Today, President Trump also announced he is sending border czar Tom Homan to Minneapolis tonight to take over both the investigation into Saturday's shooting and the immigration enforcement operations here. So those developments seem to open the door to some kind of an off-ramp to the increasingly volatile situation here in Minneapolis, which we saw more of last night when a group of anti-ICE activists targeted a hotel where federal agents were staying. They broke the windows, vandalized the building, destroyed the lobby, and you can see for a while there was just a single Minneapolis police officer standing there in the entryway, not really doing much of anything to stop it. So federal agents had to take things in.
What's up, brother Lee? Good morning to you. Great to see you in the chat.
Their own hands and geared up to clear the crowd out. Listen to this one agent standing in the doorway with what appears to be a bloodied hand.
Local PD. That's my question for the press. Okay, where is the local PD?
Now, eventually, Minneapolis police did show up, but the department says federal agents deployed chemical munitions without notice. No arrests were made. Only 2 people were detained and then released. These ratcheted up protests come after the Saturday shooting of Alex Preddy by Border Patrol officers. The second shooting of an
Where do they get these people, man?
American citizen by federal agents here in the past 3 weeks. Almost immediately, multiple federal officials described Preddy, an ICU nurse at the VA, as a domestic terrorist since he was armed with a 9mm handgun. But that description has started to change as more video has come out showing Preddy never brandished the weapon. Our Bill Malugin reports that more than a half dozen federal law enforcement sources say there is growing frustration with DHS and administration officials over the rhetoric and narratives they've put out in the media about that shooting, such as DHS Secretary Kristi Noem initially calling it a case of domestic terrorism, a claim that isn't supported by any of the videos that have since come out. Here's Deputy Attorney General Todd Blanche this morning on Fox and Friends.
I think anybody thinks that they were comparing what happened on Saturday to the legal definition of domestic terrorism. What we saw was a very violent altercation, and I am not going to prejudge the facts.
We've also learned that at least some of the Border Patrol agents involved in Saturday's shooting were wearing body cameras at the time. So that video is now part of this investigation. And what isn't clear at this point is what will happen to that video and if it will ultimately be made public. Mike?
Yeah, Garrett, you did a great job over the weekend covering the protest as it was happening. Tell us,
what's up, Ghost? Great to see you in the chat. It's been a minute. Good morning.
What's it like to be in the midst of that chaos just moments after this incident played out?
Mike, it was really interesting because what initially happened is you had federal agents that came in to secure that crime scene. You also had local state police come in to secure that crime scene. And the idea was that Minneapolis police said they sent their officers in to secure this crime scene so that they could make sure they gathered evidence for their own investigation into this shooting. Now, when that happened, Governor Tim Walz made multiple statements saying that the federal agents need to get out of there and that the state had the resources it needed to control that scene and to control the situation here in Minneapolis. But what ultimately happened is when federal agents finished their work there, and when they did clear out, is the local and state police who were there were completely overwhelmed by the hundreds of protesters that had gathered around that intersection and essentially ran those officers completely out of the area just by sheer numbers. So you have this narrative from state and local officials that have said, we can handle the situation that's here on the ground, but time and again, we have had opportunities to see if that could be the case, and so far there has not been any evidence that they have the will or the numbers to be able to control these crowds here that have largely been able to do whatever they want.
Well, this is straight chaos. I'm just going to admit. Okay, so there's an interesting number that came out this morning, actually. Or no, I'm sorry, yesterday it came out. We have a winter storm death counter this year, and so far we're looking at a number of 29 people. It's risen up to 29 people during this storm. Let's go ahead and bring this up, and we'll quickly discuss it.
Teenager, as a kid, looking forward to a snow day, getting out and about with your friends was something you always embraced. But obviously, a community in Dallas, Texas, in Central Texas, is mourning the loss of a 16-year-old girl. I do want to put up these just cold temperatures around the country.
I got you, Frank.
A few moments later.
Including there in Dallas. Not something they're typically accustomed to, some 30 degrees right now on the ground as they are mourning the loss as family and friends about the death of 16-year-old Elizabeth Engel, a sophomore at Frisco's Wakeland High School. Let's be joined right now on the ground by Fox 4's Peyton Yeager. Peyton, thank you so much for joining us. I believe I see a memorial growing behind you. What do we know at this hour?
Yeah, it's a quiet, somber day here in this Frisco neighborhood. Witnesses and neighbors nearby tried to help these 2 teenage girls involved in a sledding accident yesterday afternoon. Now, this memorial behind me has been growing.
A sledding accident, bro? What? Texas teen dies in sledding accident amid winter storm. Wow.
All day, we've been seeing high school aged students.
I think that's the first time I've ever heard of like a sledding incident that was just like in town like this. I mean, you're not on a mountain, right? Maybe it did happen in him. I don't know where it happened, but right here where this has got to be where the person died.
Students, like you can see behind me, coming out.
Hit that tree or something real hard and knock yourself out. I don't know, man.
Putting posters, putting flowers. Now, Elizabeth Engel's mother says her daughter had her whole life ahead of her, a sophomore at Wakeland High School here at Frisco ISD, a skilled soccer player, going through those 16-year-old milestones. She just got her driver's license. She was out with friends yesterday on a snow.
That's terrible. Rest in peace, man.
Day. Tragedy felt in this Frisco neighborhood with tears of
she was being pulled by a car. Now that shit makes sense. Yeah, I'm like thinking, how the fuck are you catching enough speed flat like this? Being able to, get enough speed to be like flying down and hit a pole that hard. But that totally makes fucking sense. Wow. I wonder who was driving the car. Like her boyfriend or something like that.
Flower bouquet is added at the base of this tree. Plus, pink and green ribbons are tied up the trunk, a place where this Wakeland High School parent stopped by Monday afternoon to pray.
I just came here to see what happened, the accident.
The family of 16-year-old Elizabeth Engel confirmed the sophomore at Wakeland High School died Sunday afternoon in a sledding accident. Engel's mother posted on social media her daughter was a bright light, a fun spirit, and a brave soul. Going on to say, I take comfort that she had people helping her till the end. We will never be the same.
She came back home. She was just completely broken.
Sachin Makita's daughter, friends with the 16-year-old sibling.
But
so it was 16-year-old driver.
It's just heartbreaking. I cannot even imagine what the family's going through.
Officers were called out to the intersection of Majestic Gardens Drive.
Yeah, definitely a really bad idea. Definitely a very, very bad idea.
Killian Court Sunday afternoon around 2:30. According to Frisco police, a 16-year-old male was driving a Jeep Wrangler pulling two.
What's up, Robert? Good morning to you. Great to see you in the chat.
Two teen girls on a sled. Witnesses say the sled hit a curb and collided with a tree. Elizabeth Engel died at the hospital. Her friend, also a student at Wakeland, still in critical condition.
During lunch, she sat right across from us.
Wakeland freshman.
Let me see if there's a specific thing in here. Nope. It doesn't specifically say where that clip was.
Nathaniel Lasota last saw Engel last week at school. He, along with several other neighborhood kids, playing outside on Sunday.
Like 30 minutes after it happened, we walked by the scene and we just saw like ambulances, like police cars. Like 30 seconds before, they're probably all laughing and like screaming on how much fun they have, and just like that, it just isn't fun anymore.
Meanwhile, Engel's memory being honored across many communities, including the soccer world. Her coach of her club team, FC Dallas, also posted a tribute on social media, ending it with, Elizabeth, our defender, our teammate, forever part of us.
What's up, Rob Myers, my man, over there on the Facebook side? Good morning to you. Great to see you in the chat, bro. Carrie says, congrats on the 10K, Mike. I very much appreciate that, kind sir. And we're head down focused. We don't get overly bummed out about shit, and we don't over celebrate shit. You know what I mean? We're just head down focused on the mission. So I appreciate that.
Life is so precious, just like that. Everything could just be over.
Now, some of the posters behind me here at this memorial are honoring Elizabeth Engel, but they also say, keep fighting Gracie. Gracie is Elizabeth's friend who is still in the hospital this evening in critical condition. Last check, Frisco police tell me they are still investigating this incident alongside the Denton County.
What's up, Seymour? Good morning.
District Attorney's Office. No charges have been announced. Wakeland's principal also put out a statement that Elizabeth will be honored when the students go back to school after this weather event.
Yeah, it's terrible. It's such a sad situation. I think that student there, potentially friends, that it was just potentially 30 seconds prior, they were giggling, they were having fun. Did they say anything about learning something from this? Because you can be out there with friends, you're a teenager, you're trying to enjoy it. Obviously, there's just so many different facets to it.
Yeah, no, we don't need to milk this for any more than we already have put it on the screen. Let's go ahead and see if there's anything else. If there's an update. There is an update. After careful consideration for anticipated road conditions and extreme temperatures, Dallas ISD will remain closed Tuesday, January 27, 2026. All athletic events and practices, indoor and outdoor, are postponed. Wow, interesting. Let's see what this is.
Monday, we saw drivers hit the roads after being stuck in the house all weekend due to the winter storm.
Like I got stuck because I'm going to pick up my daughter.
Side streets are still covered in Dallas. We saw multiple cars get stuck. This driver had to get help getting traction on Skillman, lost traction again, ultimately turning around and driving down the road into oncoming traffic.
How was driving to the gas station?
Slow, really slow. I mean, we were sliding a bit a couple times actually, but we actually made it here.
YouTube, Bill Castle, thank you for that. And look at this kind of road conditions, bro. This is insane.
On major highways like 75, we saw a lot of slush. On the high 5 lanes were clear, but could refreeze.
Getting back home, man, just, pretty much just getting off work right now.
Dark drains have continued to run throughout the storm, but have run at a reduced frequency at times.
I'm glad that they're running right now.
For many drivers, they told me the ice and snow was cool, but now they're ready to get back to normal.
I hope it's gone by today, actually.
Shit.
Oh, shit!
The snow melts today, so I can actually get where I need to go. So, yeah, because I'm tired of it already. It's been too long.
All right, that was Stephen Dial reporting.
She said it's been too long. Shit. All right, we're going to move on into some interesting news that happened this morning, actually, as of 4 hours ago. Bovino demoted as Border Patrol commander after Minneapolis shooting. So let's go ahead and bring this up. We will discuss this. This is probably the biggest news you're going to hear today.
That Gregory Bovino has been demoted from his role as the Border Patrol commander at large following 2 deadly shootings of American citizens at the hands of federal agents in Minnesota. Fox 2 has confirmed. Now, over the weekend, federal Border Patrol agents fatally shot a Minneapolis man that was 37-year-old VA ICU nurse Alex Preddy, and it is the 3rd shooting involving federal agents this year, including the fatal shooting of Renee Good by an ICE agent back on January 7th. The latest incident comes as thousands of federal agents are in Minneapolis as part of Operation Metro Surge. Meanwhile, multiple federal court hearings were scheduled for yesterday on Monday as legal battles do unfold in that entire case. I want to talk a little bit more on that. Another social media post from Fox 9. ICE in Minnesota lawsuit. A judge hears.
Dude, that is crazy, T-Man. He says, I get 6 to 9 months of a year of snow. Bro, that sounds like misery. I'm sorry. Where you got to be in like Canada or something, bro.
Arguments seeking
Greenland, maybe,
to block immigration operations. Our team there goes on to say that U.S. District Court Judge Eric Tostrud heard arguments yesterday from both the state and the federal government involving the preservation of evidence following the fatal shooting.
What's up, AU, by the way? Good morning.
Of Alex Preddy. The Minnesota Bureau of Criminal Apprehension, which typically investigates all law enforcement shootings in the state, wanted to investigate the incident, but was denied access to the scene twice by federal agents, despite having a warrant. The Hennepin County Attorney's Office and the BCA filed a lawsuit asking to prevent the destruction of evidence related to the fatal shooting of Alex Preddy, along with a temporary restraining order to prevent any destruction of evidence as well. I want to dive into this.
Damn, T-Man, you have that much snow that year during the year? Damn, bro, I didn't realize it got that much snow.
Even further, so I want to bring into the conversation now legal analyst Jeremy Rosenthal. We're going to discuss. Jeremy, good morning.
Good morning. How are you?
I'm doing well. Thank you for asking. So let's talk about these.
Time to stand. I got you, bro.
Why are you gay?
Shit.
Hearings that happened just yesterday. The
Perfect
judge
timing.
hasn't made a decision just yet. They said they were going to decide soon. But is it unusual for a federal judge to actually step in and order the government not to dispose of any evidence and to preserve it?
I think when you're asking for that, you're asking for what's called injunctive relief. Injunctive relief is when you're essentially asking for something to be the status quo to be preserved. So while depending on who's in possession of what evidence, that may be subject to that may be that may be a fluid issue. That may be something that is sort of evolving. A federal judge can come in and say, all right, I don't know what's going to happen with this evidence here, but it's not going to disappear and it's not going to go away. I do think that that's probably, if you're the state of Minnesota and you want to preserve those evidence, that's how I would do that, is I would ask a federal judge to say, look, you're just not going to dispose of it. We're going to maintain the status quo. It may be federal government that it's your evidence to do with what you want, or if the evidence doesn't exist, you tell us that it doesn't exist. Or it may be that we do this your way, but at the moment we're going to put the pause button on sending it to Virginia, sending it here and there, or disposing it.
Taking us back out to this live image that we have over in Minneapolis. Now, Jeremy, there's really kind of a back and forth here when it comes to the federal agents involved, the state and local agents involved. Who actually has jurisdiction when a federal officer is involved?
Charles, that comment fucking made me laugh, bro. That's why I played this perfect timing.
Why are you gay?
Soundbite.
In a fatal shooting inside of a state.
That's the million-dollar question here. Really what's going on here is that the state of Minnesota is saying, look, federal government, you put 3,000 or so troops on the street. That's more police than we have in Minneapolis and St. Paul. This is a de facto occupation, if you will. You've got federal agents running around in military uniforms. Some of them are not wearing identification. Some of them are wearing masks. They have drone no-fly zones.
Oh, be safe out there, TVT. Appreciate you. Stay warm. And we'll see you on the flip side.
That they are conducting warrantless checkpoints and things like that. And it's the federal government has the right and the duty. That's federal. So I don't know that the state of Minnesota can necessarily stop that. But I think what they're asking this judge to do, they're asking the judge to stop it, which I don't know that the judge can do. But
I just want to point out, why does this legal analyst, Jeremy, have Russia right behind him? Why? Why would you have Russia right behind you when you're talking about some shit in the United States like this? That doesn't make any sense.
they're also asking the judge to really fundamentally reshape it. And I think that the state of Minnesota is going to have a lot better arguments there, saying, look, we have state sovereignty. Look, you cannot commandeer our parks. The 10th Amendment prevents you from commandeering our law enforcement. It prevents you from taking our airspace and turning it into your own. So I do think that you're going to see probably a compromise decision.
Be safe, Brother Steve. Thank you for hanging out and moderating as well.
From this judge, meaning that they're not going to basically, the state of Minnesota cannot just unilaterally stop an immigration operation because they don't like it. And on the other side, I think what you're going to see is this judge may very likely step in and say, okay, federal government, we don't do checkpoints in America. We just don't do that. And you don't get to do that just because you're the feds. So I think you're going to see a lot of action like that.
It just seems like still a lot of back and forth.
Yeah, you totally are making me think of how it's pronounced. Minnesota. You know what I mean?
So let's say the judge does step in and say, look, we don't do things like that here in the state, even though the federal government does have authorization to conduct these immigration enforcement operations. What would be the next step? I mean, who has the upper hand in this situation?
It's a pretty complicated issue, right? The state of Minnesota is saying, look, you're retaliating against us. You're retaliating against us because you don't like our policies, because you don't like the elected officials that we brought in here. But again, where does an immigration enforcement action end and a retaliation sort of begin, right?
Well, what legal ground do you really actually have? ICE can be there. They can, and just because it outnumbers, I mean, I'm not sure what the legality point is on that aspect. That may be something that is interesting to look into, but still, that's the federal government has the jurisdiction. So, anyways, we're gonna move on. Deadly winter storm shifts to extreme cold in Texas, and I think that a few of you guys here actually live in Texas and are going through some of that ice storms or ice. I know it's a lot of ice down there.
I want to bring you out to this live look here out of Fort Worth, Texas. As we've been covering winter weather, we do know as much of the Northeast digs out from the biggest snowstorm in half a decade, New York, Philadelphia, and Boston could all be on track to see another major system on its heels. But as we've been covering, more than just the Northeast was impacted by snow and frigid temperatures this past weekend. States like Texas still dealing with the impacts. Joining us live now is Texas Congressman Brandon Gill on Live Now from Fox. Thank you so much for taking the time this morning. We do appreciate it.
Yeah, thanks for having me.
First of all, what have you been hearing there from your district about the impacts of the winter weather? What have you been hearing? What have we been seeing?
Well, the biggest thing to keep in mind whenever you have storms like this in a state like Texas, who's not used to having sub-freezing weather for multiple days, is power outages. That's the
yes, and that's truly where you're going to have power outages, not just because it's cold, but when shit starts to ice over, yeah, that's when our power grid struggles.
Biggest thing, if people can stay home and they can stay warm, then typically they can stay safe. Luckily in Texas, particularly in North Texas, which I represent, we have not seen widespread power outages like we did several years ago. You do have localized power outages where wind or ice or something like that takes down a power line.
Right.
Emergency officials have been able to get out and fix those, restore power relatively quickly over the past few days. So we've been very blessed in that sense. People are hunkering down. The roads are extremely icy. Of course, it's freezing cold outside. But again, as long as the power stays going, people generally stay safe.
Now, we did hear you were on Fox News just the other day, and you said, we've got what we need to get through this. How are you coordinating with state and local officials in Texas to make sure emergency services and resources are getting where they are needed the most?
So my team and I are in daily contact with local mayors, county commissioners, county officials, county judges, as well as the Texas Emergency Preparedness Department. And as well as the National Weather Service. So we're getting real-time information every day, making sure that the local officials have what they need. We're talking to warming centers, which are areas that anybody who, if their power goes out or if they're homeless, can go to, can stay warm, can get out of the weather. We're regularly talking to local food banks to make sure that they have what they need. That helps coordinate if power does go out in large areas, that will allow us to coordinate responses. So we're in daily contact with them. And right now, local food banks are telling us that they have what they need, and warming centers are telling us that they still have capacity.
That's good.
Yeah, and I wanted to touch on that. So you mentioned power outages. We do know in Texas they started spiking on Saturday, and after peaking above 150,000 on Sunday, that number of outages has been trending downward. But given past winter storm failures in the state's power grid, what specific steps could or should Congress take to improve grid resilience to extreme cold?
Yeah, the answer, I think, is to get as much power, put simply, as possible. I've been a big proponent of using fossil fuels, oil, natural gas, resources that are available in extreme cold, like what we're saying now. Now, I think that those are long-term solutions, things that we need to look at once we get through this immediate storm. Right now, the goal is to make sure that the people of North Texas, people all over Texas, are safe. But long-term, I think better grid reliability depends on energy resources that are available all the time.
When we talk about recovery efforts and timeline, where do we stand with that in the state of Texas?
Well, right now, again, we're dealing with immediate issues that arise whenever localized power goes out. We're dealing with that emergency official.
Right, but it's great to get ahead of the game, and so that's kind of not a fantastic position to be in. But yeah, you got to do what you got to do.
Are on the scene. We're helping local resources get what they need, again, whether it's food banks or warming centers, and that's where the focus is right now.
And Congressman, if we could, before we let you go here,
The only difference is their infrastructure just is not really built for it. A lot of the infrastructure up north is a little bit more catered to it being a cold environment.
I want to head back out to Washington, D.C. because Congress is now days away from a partial government shutdown because Senate Democrats say they won't advance a funding bill that includes DHS. What is your message to Americans who are concerned about another government shutdown or Homeland Security?
Well, the message is that I hope that Democrats will come to the table and negotiate in good faith, or will work in good faith. These are bipartisan deals that had been, this appropriations deal that had been worked on for several months now. And the reality is Democrats want to hold up funding because they don't want to give money to ICE. Well, we already funded ICE.
They don't want to give any to Homeland Security. So we're going to see a shutdown most likely because of it.
In the tax bill last summer that we passed, the big, beautiful bill. So I hope that Democrats will come to the table. Listen, this is a $60 billion DHS appropriations bill. That includes money that goes to FEMA and other emergency services. So I hope that particularly given this national storm, that the Democrats will come and they'll, again, negotiate in good faith so that we can get this signed.
All right, Congressman, we appreciate you coming on live now.
And so obviously, as you guys know, we are going to follow all of the ongoings of all of this unfolding. But that does wrap us up for this hour for today's show. But we will be back tomorrow morning to follow up on all of these things. This is what we do here. So I very much appreciate you guys hitting that like button, by the way. Double tap the screen if you guys are on the vertical side. And hit the like button if you're on the horizontal. As well as hit that subscribe, because this is what we do Monday through Friday, as well as Saturday for members only, man. So anyways, Mike, is there a show tonight? No, that is tomorrow night. That's tomorrow night. Every Wednesday night is when I do the Diamond Effect. So we'll be back tomorrow morning for more of the world's madness. Until then, God bless everyone, and stick around for the raid. We're going to be raiding our buddy Black Dragon. He may be wrapping up right now. I have no idea, but just go in there, say hi, and let them know that we're coming through. So anyways, with that being said, much love. We'll see you guys very soon. Stay safe.
From the depths of darkness, a voice emerges, a host with a fire burning.